Hello children, let's come back to our maths class. I hope you are all enjoying your maths class. Not only maths class, you are all enjoying your all the subjects classes. So this is a new experience you people are just having because of this corona, yes? So you will be studying in a class, we would have a classroom interaction. There was some interaction between a student and a teacher, but now everything has been changed just for this some days. Yes, we just can't say that it's a permanent change, just few days. And I just pray that we come back to our normal classes. Yes. So let's start our today's class. And before we just enter to our exercise, we'll have a small recap of what we have done in our previous classes. Yes, what we have done, children? Yeah, we dealt with different types of functions, and I told you that in this lesson only we are just going to deal about, or some questions were given based on 1-to-1 and on-to. And you know the definition for 1-to-1. Yeah, what's the definition for 1-to-1? That is, every element, every single input has a single output, or every element in A is mapped to every element in B, or single element in B. So mapping is a 1-to-1, 1-to-1. And onto, what is the onto? So every element in the codomain has a pre-image in the domain. Suppose you have A and B. So A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. So when there is a mapping, here A has a pre-image, B has a pre-image, C has a pre-image, but D is not having a pre-image. So this type of function is not an onto function. So let's, these were the things that we have studied in our last class. And also we have seen about the domains. We found some domains, and also we found the ranges for a given function. So now we are going to just continue our exercise 1.3. Yes, children? Yes. We have 20 sums over there, and just we have completed 12. So today we are going to start with the 13th sum. So write on the 13th question. So take your classwork, write on today's date, write sum number 13, write on the question. The weight of the muscles of a man is a function of his body weight x, and can be expressed as Wx is equal to 0.35x. Determine the domain of this function. So read the question. The weight of the muscles of a man is a function of his body. Okay, so we are going to determine here what is the function here? Wx is a function. And how is the function determined? Body weight. Well, of course, the weight of the muscle depends on the body weight, that is x. So let's see how to solve the sum. And what is the question here? They are asked you to determine the domain. So we have to find out the domain for the function. And they have given you the domain over here. It's Wx is equal to 0.35x. Write down. Exercise 1.3, sum number 13. Given Wx is equal to 0.35x. Given Wx is equal to 0.35x. Okay. So now here they are asking you to find out the domain. That is, we are going to find out the value for x. Let's see. Let's try out, because we don't know any other details. The only thing is, he is saying the muscle weight. Okay, the weight of the muscle of a man is a function of his body weight. So it depends. So there is a relation between the muscle weight and a body weight. So just we are going to put our own values. We are just going to have a random value. We will choose a random value, and we are going to find out what will be the value of x. Okay, let me start with the x as 0, because I know the weight cannot be negative. Always, suppose once or as soon as the baby is being brought into this world, okay, as soon as the baby step out to see this beautiful world, the baby is with some weight, yes, some weight, 2 kilos, 2.5 kilos, 3 kilos, 4 kilos, maybe up to 4.5 kilos maximum. And sometimes the baby may be for 1.5, some cases, okay, rarely, mostly the normal weight will be around 2.5 to 4. Yes. 4 is, the baby will be very chubby and bubbly. Okay, so now here, that means the weight of a person, there will be a weight for a person. We say the weight cannot be negative. We cannot have a negative weight. I can't say, okay, my weight is minus 20. No, the weight is always positive, one condition. And also the second thing, the weight cannot be 0. I told you, as soon as the baby stepped out to see this new world, it has some weight, yeah. So some weight will be there. So we start from 1, or you can, 0 is not there, it's not allowed. Okay, so we start from 1. So what do you get here? 0.35 into 1, which is equal to 0.35. And check for W2, that's, I'm just trying to get the value for X. That's what we have to find. We have to find out the domain of the function, yeah. So I don't know what is the domain. So just a random choosing of values. So what will be W of 2? 0.35 into 2. That's 0.7. 0.70 you get. You can take it as 0.7. And when you go on, W of infinity will be infinity. We don't know what's the value, so it will be somewhat infinity. So 0.3 into infinity, we just take it as infinity. So now just, now we have to put the answer in terms of statement. Before we put the answer in terms of statement, let's have a small explanation using the number line. Okay, so suppose we have a number line. It's the origin is 0 and we have all the negative values here. And we have all the positive values here. Yes, children. Now I have told you 2 things. What was the thing I told you? Yeah, the weight cannot be negative. So this part is totally excluded. We cannot take this part. There will be a weight which will be always positive. And also I told you the weight will be not 0. We don't have 0. Yes, 0 will be not included. So what is the thing you are going to say here? Yes, the weight will be greater than 0. Greater than 0, it may be 0.0001, 0 point something, but it will be greater than 0. So what will be the answer, children? The domain will be greater than 0. So let's present our answer. Therefore, domain is X greater than 0. Of course, X will be greater than 0. Any value, it can be any value, but the condition is it will be greater than 0, 0.00, 0 point something, but not 0. Okay. Okay, so we have completed our sum number 13. I hope the sum is clear to you. So now come to the next question. So before you start with question number 14, the question is depending on the graph. So we are not going to do the sum in the graph paper, just we are going to do it in our classwork itself. We have already done, we have drawn the graph. Yes, children, in class 10 we have studied how to draw the graph. We had one type of question, yes, that is to represent the function in ordered form, table form, ordered form. Then we have studied for the graph form also. So we are just going to draw the x-axis and y-axis. We are just going to give the numbers and we are going to plot the graph. So before you start sum number 14, keep your ruler, keep your pencils, everything ready, and let's start with the sum number 14. Okay, have you taken on the question? So whenever you get free time, do not waste your free time. Use your time wisely, children. Use your time. This year is very important for you, crucial year, this coming 2 years. So do not waste your time. 11th marks, 12th marks, all the marks are important, you know. You have to score good marks so that when you step out in the world, you know, it's a very, you know, what is that, a competition world. Lot of people will be there to compete with you. There will be lot of competition, there will be lot of ups and downs that you have to face. So you have to be ready for everything. The first thing is just study and just have a good marks with you. So once you go with a good mark, the way will be really easy for you to move. Okay, so just do not waste your time. Just go on practicing. The class works we are going very slow, so complete all your practice, all your class works, all your homeworks, all your assignments. You have to face this world, you know. So once we have something good in a hand, you know, yeah, if the mark is there, good marks, everyone will be welcoming you. They will just give you a hand, helping, and all will give the hand to pull you up. So just try for that. So that is up to you. So you have to study and you have to score good marks. Okay, taken on the question. The distance of an object falling is a function of time t and can be expressed as s of t is equal to minus 16t square. Graph the function and determine if it is 1 to 1. So actually what they are saying is a function is given, yes. So what is the function here? S of t is equal to minus 16t square. A distance of an object falling is a function. So here what is the thing, what is the happening thing over here? The distance of the object falling. That is, something is being falling from the top part, it's coming to the ground level. And the function is of time. So it depends. That is, the distance of an object falling depends on the time t. So, and it is expressed as s of t is equal to minus 16t square. So they have told you that graph the function and determine. So we have to check whether it's a function or, okay, they are saying that graph the function. So they already told you that it is a function. And only the thing is, they are asking you to check whether it is a 1-1 function using the graph and determine its role. So what we are going to do here is, we are going to just use a normal method for finding 1-1 function, and also we are going to draw a graph, and from the graph also we are going to determine whether it is a 1-1 function. Some question was easy. Student, have you taken on the question? It was a simple question. Okay, now let's start with the answer. Write down. So you ask whenever you are free only now. Yes, so you ask your parents what was your weight when you were born. So at the time of your birth, you ask what's your weight, okay? Because you would be some would be heavy, some would be very light. Yes. So just confirm your weights from your parents. Yeah, it will be interesting, yes, to hear all the flashbacks. So just have a small discussion with your parents. Okay. Now let's come back to our sum number 14. The distance of an object falling is a function of time t, and a function is given to you, that is s of t is equal to minus 16t square. And given s of t is equal to minus 16t square, and on the function s of t is equal to minus 16t square. Do you remember yesterday we have the last class? Yeah, in the last class we have done a sum. I think it was which somebody did yesterday, which was dealing with the function. We took the formula yesterday. Yes, we have taken, I think we used for sum number 9. We used a formula f of a1 is equal to f of 2a2 implies a1 is equal to a2. So we have used one explanation. I told you the definition was in class 10. So we are just referring the definition from class 10 for the sum. So we use the definition for sum number 9. So the same definition we are going to follow in sum number 14. Okay. So write down here. Do you remember this? If f of a1 is equal to f2 and a1 is if this implies a1 is equal to a2, we should say that it is a 1-1 function. Similarly, we are going to follow the same method here. Here s of t is given. So you are going to write down s of t1 is equal to s of t2. S of t1, same here, f of a1, f of a2, function. Here we have a function s of t. So instead of f, you are going to take ss. And t is taken as t1 and t2. S of t1 is equal to s of t2 implies, what is the function here? Minus 16t square. So you get minus 16 t1 square is equal to minus 16 t2 square. Is this clear? Minus 16 t1 square is equal to minus 16 t2 square. Just try to cancel out the common part here, children. Minus minus gets cancelled. 16 gets cancelled. T1 square is equal to T2 square. So I'll just write here. T1 square is equal to T2 square, which implies T1 is equal to plus minus T2. This type of symbol is clear to you, yes? If you have a square of 3, like 9 can be expressed as, square root of 9 can be expressed as plus minus 3. 3 3s are 9. So T1 is taken as plus minus T1. Here we have T2, yeah? So T1 is equal to plus minus. We are just taking the square root on both the sides. So T1 is equal to plus minus T2. So this implies T1 is equal to T2 or T1 is equal to minus T2. So we have two answers with us. What are the two answers? T1 is equal to T2 and T1 is equal to minus T2. So now which option are you going to choose here? We have to choose the first option, that T1 is equal to T2. I'll tell you why. Since the distance cannot, or here t determines the time, d is so you can say the time is never taken as negative. We never take a negative timing, yes. So you have to take a positive one. So you get T1 is equal to T2. So I started from S of T1 is equal to S of T2 and I have got here T1 is equal to T2. So this says function is 1 1. Says the function is 1. Here what is the function? Here the function is st. Therefore st is 1 1 function. S of t is 1 1 function. Here the function, they have taken the function as s of t, yes? So we will just put in place of f as s of t. So s of t is a 1 1 function. Okay, so actually the question is graph the function and determine its, determine if it is the 1 1, determine it is a 1 1. So what is the thing? I have just used the definition over here, and with the help of a definition I have just arrived at the function is a 1 1 function. But now what we are going to do is, now we are going to do a graph. We are going to plot a graph, and from the graph also we are going to find that it is a 1 1. So we are going to determine a 1 1 from graph part also. So just take down this part and get ready with your scale and pencil for a graph. So we are going to draw a graph. So you are going to draw the graph along with me. Do not waste time. Do not just look here and there. Just do not run for your scale and pencil. I have already told that once you come to your maths class, you have to be ready with your scale, pencil, eraser, whatever things you require. So just keep everything ready with you. So every time you are not going to run here and there. Okay. Now let's come to the graph part. Now before we plot the graph, we need some values. As without values we cannot plot. So we will just draw a table for our graph to be plotted. We are going very slow, children, so understand the steps carefully. Learn how to write the next step, what the next step, think of the next steps. Okay, so just think and answer. Do not just simply close your eyes and do not just waste your time. Answer, think before you answer. Okay, just think what will be there. Think twice, think thrice, and then put your answers in your paper. Okay. Let's start a graph. So we have to draw a graph of s of t is equal to minus 16t square. Yes, children? Okay. So the function. So you are going to draw a graph of s of t is equal to minus 16t square. So just have a table over here. When you plot a table, we just take some positive values and just take a negative value. Actually, in this case, we can just only take the positive values. No problem. We have told that time is not negative. Okay, so we will just take only the positive values here. No need to take the negative values. Let's put the values over here. Actually, what happens if you take a positive and negative, we get a curve on both the sides. So the figure will be completely seen. It's your wish. You can only focus on the positive values. It's not a problem at all. 0, 1, 2, and take 3. Okay. If you want, I'll just take one more value here for minus 1. So that at least we get some part over the minus 1. Both the sides we get. What is the value? Just substitute the value and get the answer. What is s of 0 and what is s of 1? So this is your table here. So you can draw. Okay, you can just find the value below it, or you can use your rough column to find out the values. Use your rough column, children. So s of 0 is equal to minus 16 0 square. So it's 0. S of 0 is equal to minus 16 0 whole square. So it becomes 0. Minus 1. S of minus 1 is minus 16 minus 1 square. Minus 16. Minus 1 square turns to be minus 1 into minus 1. It's plus 1. So it is plus 1. So you get the answer is minus 16. For minus 1, yes. See, minus 1 into minus 1. It's plus 1. So minus 16 into 1. Minus 16. Find for s of 1. S of 1 is equal to, just in place of t you have to put the 1. Minus 16, 1 square. Minus 16. Find for 2 and find for 3. Try out for 2 and try out for 3 and fill the table. Have you filled, children? Let's see what is the answer you are getting. Check your answers. So s of 2 is equal to minus 16 2 square. So you get minus 16 into 4. 2 2s are 4. So minus 64. 16 4s are 24. 64. Let's go for 3. S of 3 minus 16 3 square. So minus 16 into 9. Find out the answer for minus 16 to 9. We found the answer. Write down the answer here. It's 144 minus 144. 69, sir. So minus 144. Let's fill the table here. Minus 64 minus 144. Get on the table. Actually, the number goes very big. Yes, 144. Okay, let's see how to plot the values. Have you taken down the table? Have you taken down that rough part, children? Okay. Now I'll rub this part, and now you take your scale and pencil and just draw a x-axis and a y-axis. Do not use, if you have very less space left in the page, you use a new page for drawing your graph, okay? So do not draw a small graph, you will just try to draw the graph. Draw a graph, write here x and put your y-axis. We are going to plot x-axis and y-axis, and here we are going to plot the time. So this is your, so here just mention one thing to avoid time. This is t and this is s of t. Yeah? We have taken the value for t and s of t. So t and s of t. So this, from the x-axis you are going to take the value for time, and here we are going to take about the distance. So this is the distance, x and y. So now we have to take a proper scale. Let's try. So for the, on the x-axis no problem, no need to worry about the scale. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can just take the numbers as it is. Okay. Plot the numbers or plot the values for t. It takes minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So first you plot the 0 in the origin part, then you have 1. Just use your scale when you plot the numbers so that your graph will look neatly, because we are not using a graph paper, yes children? So we are creating our own graphs. So you have to use your scale and pencil to plot the points. Just you use your scale, you know the distance, yes, 0 to 1. So you can just take this distance. You mark as 0, 1. You can place the scale and you can mark the numbers as 1. Then mark the number as 2. Mark the number as 3, so that it looks neat. Okay. What you have done in your previous, yes, you know how to plot it. I'm just reminding you once again. And don't take lot of time also, children. You have to be a little faster. Yes. And here similarly plot some negative values. I have just taken one value so that I get a graph over here also, okay? For that reason only. And for distance, let's mark some points. It's 16, 64, 144. So what do we do? 10, 10 means it will go on, yes, more. 10, 20, 30. 20, 20, yeah, we will take this rough figure, yes, we are going to take rough only, so take a 20, 20. So plot here 20, 40, 60, 80. That's why I told you use a fresh page. 100, 120, 140, 160. Here 20, or you can take the multiples of 16, but this is the easy thing. We just go on writing the numbers and we can plot our points. Anyway, this is a rough plotting only, so no problem. 100, 120, 140. We have 144, so you have to plot it 160, 40, 60. So x represents time and y represents distance. Take your y distance, okay? You can mention your scale also. On x-axis, 1 unit or 1 centimeter is equal to 1 unit, and on y-axis, 1 centimeter is equal to 20 units. Here any units is not mentioned, yes? Yeah, nothing is mentioned. The units are not there, so just will take it as unit. 1 centimeter is equal to 20 unit. So write on the scale. You can use your pencils, a pen for writing this part, and you can only for the drawing the x-axis and the y-axis you have to use a pencil, and other details can be given with pen. Take down the graph. Draw neatly. I have told you that when you give markings, when you mark the points, use the scale to mark the points so that the graph looks neat. Okay, so what is your let's start pointing out the coordinates. Let's plot the points. The first one is -1 to 16. Yes, so just have, this is a roughly, we are just going to, we have taken 20, so 16 will be nearby, somewhat nearby 20. It's not approximately on 20, nearby, very close to 20. Yeah. So -1 and it's -16. Now see here all plus and here all negatives. Yeah, this is very important thing. This is our first quadrant. First is positive, good. Second is, yeah, many would have said yes ma'am, negative. Yes, you're all brilliant people. Mark the negative signs. Next, the second it is, and always whenever we write the sign, we have to take the negative, that is we have to take the x part first, okay? The x sign first and then the y sign. So here we have negative and positive. So minus plus, here minus, and here plus minus. X is plus and y is minus. So x plus y minus. So remember the coordinates, plus minus plus minus. So now let's go on plotting the points. So we have all noted all these things in our graph notes, yes. So let's take the first one, -1, -16. Where is -1, -16? Somewhere here, close to 20, okay. Use your scales to draw dotted lines so that it comes straight. So it's -1 and write down the coordinates also, -1, -16. And the second one is you highlight, you have to use that, you know, yes, children, just put a darken the dot and you have to put a circle over there. And next one is 0, 0. (1 -16). Same line, follow the same line, okay? 1 -16, here, somewhere here. 1 -16. Next, 2 -64. 2 -64. Where 64 will come somewhere here, yeah? 64. Close to this, don't write here, okay? Plot here. So, you use your ruler to draw the straight line. And 144 somewhere nearby. 140. I hope my lines are going in a proper way. Yes. nearby. So you have 140 here, so it should be taken a little down, yes? I'll take a little down. Little, very closely. And I'll just take here. It's 3 minus 144. So got. So now what you are going to do is, now you are just going to use your hand. You are not going to take a scale. No need to take a scale. Just draw to join all the points using a smooth curve. Come on, draw a smooth curve. You don't go on drawing at a time. You just go on joining two at a time, so that it will be easy. Okay, try to join all the points by a smooth curve. You have plotted as the parabolas in your class 10. So just use that techniques and draw a smooth curve. You get a parabola over there. So plot all the points, plot the coordinates, use your scale and use your pencil to draw the graph. So we have drawn the x-axis, we have drawn the y-axis, we have written the scale, okay, and we have got all the parts. I told you that the question was graph the function and also determine means from the graph also we have to explain. Actually the question is from the graph only you have to explain it's a one function, but already in the we have done one extra thing, that is we have explained the function is one using the definition method also. Okay, so we will just do by graph method. We are going to explain or we are going to check the function is one using the graph. Let's have a check. Let's see how we are going to explain our answer. So we have plotted our graph, done, the first work is done. Now what is the definition for 1 Every input should have a single, every single input has a single output. So now see here, we'll add, what is it? We have to start from the positive part only, yes. The time will be taken from positive only. So for every input, so for one input, suppose 1 is the input, what is the output? Minus 16. For 2 you have the output 64. For 3 you have the output minus 144. So every element in X has a corresponding output in Y. So the given function is 1 from graph. Okay, so let's try to write down in a proper statement form. I'll write the statement here. Every element or every input in A, that is in A, I'll just put here in every input in A. So what I'll write for A? Okay, every input in A. This is our own, I'm just giving you, for that is A for time. Okay, so every input in A, this time, on x-axis corresponds to a single output in B, every input in A time. So you can just put here A, okay, this I'll take it as A and here I'll take it as B. So every input in A, that is time, on x-axis corresponds to a single output in B. So I get a single output from B, and that is on y-axis. Therefore, in B, what do you have to write? B is a distance, yes. So B distance on y-axis. So you mention here, therefore, F is 1 1, but what is F here? What is the function taken? S of t. Therefore, S of t is a 1 1 function. This is from graph, okay. The previous case I explained from the definition. Now this is from the graph. So from graph. Actually, if you write from graph means they will refer the graph. Suppose the graph will be referred and it will be given. Okay. So every input is having output. Okay, done. So the work is done. So every input in A, its time on the x-axis corresponds to a single output in B, that is on y-axis. Therefore, S of t is a 1 1 function. That is from the graph. So we have completed our sum number 14. Plot down the points. Okay, before we start with the new sum, that is before we go for sum number 15, a small work for you. I'll just give you the assignment, okay? You note down your assignments. The assignments are solved examples, okay? Already we have taken the solved examples from 1.1 to 1.13, yes children? So 1.1 to 1.13 is been done. So now the next assignment is, so I'll mention here the assignment questions. So assignment is solved example. I am just focusing on solved examples because all the classwork, all the exercise sums are covered here. Yes, I am just going with some sums and you are doing some sums from exercise as homework. So I want all the solved examples to be covered. And that solved examples are also asked for the questions. So we have a combinations of exercise sums and the example sums. So I'm just focusing, I'm giving importance for solved examples. So you just go on solving. So just do not copy the sum. You have to see, you have to understand the question, you have to see the steps involved over there. You have to understand the steps and you have to do it. Once you do a sum, it should be stored in your mind. Okay, you should be able to solve the sum at any moment. So thorough your sums, go through, understand once, twice, just understand the question, understand the steps and have a complete idea about the sum. So what's your homework? So assignment questions will be solved examples 1.14 to 1.20. From 1.14 to 1.20. So from 1.14, 1.15, 1.16 and so on till 1.28. Okay. So done, yes children. So you have noted down the assignments. Now let's come back to the classwork. Take on the question, 15 question. I have just kept the graph for that. You just check your graphs, check the plotting points, everything, do it properly. Now let's come to sum number 15. Take on the question. The total cost of airfare on a given route. The total cost of airfare on a given route is comprised of the base cost C. Okay, suppose you are going for a tour. Okay, if you are planning for a picnic, but nowadays it's not good. Yes, it's a risky. Yeah, it's a risky. Suppose, okay, after all everything has been cleared, everything has been normal. Suppose if you plan for a tour, how you are going to go? You are planning for a tour by airways. Okay, you are going to travel by air. Okay, see. How is the airfare charged? How you are going to pay the cost of airfare? The first thing, you have to give the base cost, that is C. The basic cost, you have to pay some amount. Yes, and no one is going to allow you inside directly. You have to pay and you have to get a ticket and then only you will be allowed inside the flight. Yes. So how they are charging the airfare? It is comprised of the base cost C and also the fuel surcharge S in rupees. So you have to pay. Suppose you have to go for a air route, you're planning for a air route travel, you are going to pay the amount for a base cost. Base cost means maybe for seating arrangement, yeah, you are using that flights, then sometimes they may give you some eatables, yes, for that, plus you have to pay the amount for fuel also, fuel surcharge also. So that's the way, that's why the ticket is little costly, yes, compared to our buses and compared to our trains. The cost of airfare is little higher. So why? Because they charge the base cost plus they charge the fuel surcharge in rupee. Both C and S, here the C and S are functions of the mileage M. Okay, so here C and S is a function. What is the function given here? Mileage. And how it is given? C of M is equal to 0.4 M plus 50, and the function for what is that? Surcharge, fuel surcharge is given in terms of S of M is equal to 0.03 M. Determine a function for the total cost of a ticket in terms of the mileage, and you are going to find out the airfare for flying 1600 miles. Your long travel, yeah, 1600 miles. So let's find out the two functions that are already given. One is for CM and one is for SM, and now you are going to find out the total cost. Determine a function for the total cost of a ticket in terms of the mileage, and also you are going to find the airfare. I hope you have taken down the question. Now let's go for the sum. Have you noted down your assignments, children? It's very, very important. You have to write down your assignments and you have to keep your assignments ready. And once it's been informed, you have to submit your work. So just do not postpone your work. Complete. Try to complete your assignments in 2 or 3 days. Do not take more than that. Okay, now let's go for the sum. What is given? Let's write down what are the given things here. Two functions are there, cost function and fuel surcharge function. So write down both functions. So given, sum number 15. Given cost function CM, C of M is equal to, what is the function, children? 0.4M plus 50. 0.4M plus 50. And what is one more thing? Fuel surcharge. Fuel surcharge function, it's SM. S of M is equal to. So two functions are given. I am just writing the details that is given in the question. So cost function is C of M, 0.4M plus 50, and S of M, which is equal to 0.03 M. Done. Now what's the next thing? The question is determine a function for the total cost in terms of the mileage. And yeah, mileage. In terms of the mileage. So I want the answer in terms of mileage. So that's here, it's in terms of mileage, in terms of mileage. M stands for mileage, okay. So let's write down the total cost of ticket. So total cost of ticket is equal to, total cost means what? I have told you that the airfare, how are they determining the airfare? How is the price determined for the air ticket? You have to pay for a base cost and also you have to pay for the fuel surcharge. So the total cost of ticket is CM plus SM. So just substitute the values, 0.4M plus 50 plus 0.03 M. I have just substituted the value for C of M and S of M. 0.4 M plus 50 plus 0.03 M. Add both the like terms over here. We have two like, we have a like term over here. 0.4 M, 0.03 M. Arrange the numbers properly, children. You can just place it properly. Okay, we have, if 4 is alone means the next number will be 0. So 0.40 plus 0.03. So it is 340 point. 0.43 m plus 50. Do not add 43 and 50. That's totally different. Here it is with the variable 0.43 m plus 50. So this is the function for the total cost. Determine a function for the total cost. Function for total cost of. I'll just write here. Therefore, function for total cost of ticket. In terms of mileage. 0.43 m plus 50. So the first part, we have found the first part of the answer. Okay, so we have found the function 0.43 m plus 50. Okay. I'll rub the graph part. I hope you would have taken it. Sufficient time was given for writing the graph. Now one more part is left out. They are also asking you to find out the airfare for flying 600 or 1600 miles. So what is the miles he is going to fly? 1600 miles. Read on. Airfare. That is air ticket. Fare means ticket. Airfare for flying 1600 miles is equal to, substitute the value. I told mileage is written in terms, it's represented as ms. So substitute the value over there. So minus is equal to 0.43 into 1600 plus 50. Okay. So just substitute the value for the miles, that is 1600 miles. So we are going to find out the airfare for flying 1600 miles. We have got a function for total cost of ticket, that is 0.43 m plus 50. So I have substituted. So now you are going to solve and give me the answer. Come on, work out and give me the answer. Solve. Find out the answer. Fast. Now what's the answer you're getting over there? I'll do the multiplication. I hope you are doing the calculation part. Yes, children, do the calculation part. I'll do here, yes, 1600 into 0.43. So 0, 0, 18, 4, 1, 0, 0, 0, 24, 6, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, plus 50 is there, yeah? 0, 0, 8, 8, 6, 0. 2 decimals, so here. So you have 688, 688 plus 50, 738. So be careful with the calculations. So when you multiply 1600 with 0.43, you get 688. So just put 2 number, that's a 2 number, okay? So 0.00, so 688 plus 50, this gives you 730. The airfare, so it will be in terms of rupees. So you have got the answer for airfare. So what is the fare? Oh, it's very less, yes children? Yeah, very. Yeah, everyone can go. 1600 miles only. Rupees 738. So let's complete our final statement. Yeah. So let's write down here. Shall I rub this working? You would have checked, yes, you would have got the answer. So, airfare for flying 1600 miles is rupees 738. So two parts were asked. One was to write the function in terms of mileage, that is for the total cost. So we got the function, and one is for finding the airfare for flying 1600 miles. So we have completed our sum number 15. I have given you the assignment questions. It's around 15 questions you get there. So go for the assignments. And your homework for today, just one sum, children, very easy work today. So homework is from exercise 1.3, sum number 16. Question number 16, you have to follow your sum number 15 and you are going to get your answers. And one more thing, so homework is very easy. Okay, and sum number 18, prior date in 17th one I will try, okay. I will do the 17th sum in the classwork. You just complete 16 and 18. Are you noting down the homework, children? Check on the homework. It's exercise 1.3, sum number 16 and sum number 18. Two sums for your homework. And I have given you the assignment questions. You know the rules and regulations for your homeworks and assignments. So follow it and just submit your homeworks the day itself. Okay, I'll be just waiting for your homework, children. Yes? So submit your homeworks, and so we can have a record of the children who are doing all the works properly, and we can give them full mark for their internal assessment. Okay, we stop over here. We will meet in the next class.